All right, hello everybody. We are back to the great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
Ooh.
After our diversion into Deltarune. So what happened last time was like we finished case number 3 in a morally ambiguous manner, and then somebody burned to death in the carriage. It was probably the defendant.
McMillan.
Yeah, whatever his name was.
Or McGillis.
Magnus McGilded.
McGilded. Okay.
There you go. So we're probably about to find out he's dead.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
And also, it was the first one that implemented like the guilty.
The jury thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, from watching like the commercials or like the ads for it, that was the only. I guess like that was the only jury that I ever saw.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sherlock, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed.
Okay, so they changed Sherlock Holmes' name, but they don't change Wilson.
Yeah.
We are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from
No, it's Watson.
herbal tea.
Isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
duh! My God, never mind.
A distant memory of that snake.
Clearly, I've not had enough sleep.
To the young lady
Or cocaine.
collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road.
Is this are we not
The
gonna?
knife
Is
in
this
her back.
a different case? Are we not gonna address the?
Lit in the soft
Carriage
glow of
fire.
gas lamps, a most
Well,
extraordinary scene.
Because remember, like the other one of
And
these,
under the cover of a light fog,
that's where like they introduced the idea that the serpent or like whatever the thing was a snake.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's like these are tales that like are in like the books that Sasato reads.
True. All right. Well, I guess we'll find out. 19th February, 9:47 a.m. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Dun dun.
Dun, dun. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo?
No, not at all.
It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious, I felt like we were staying in a palace. And with all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than day, even in the middle of the night.
That's gonna be why he couldn't sleep. What about the enormous beds? After my time on the Atzisburia, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. Spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other.
Yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Wait, what does that even mean? Dream of normally? Are there like abnormal dreaming?
I think like it's out of reach. Like normally you can only dream of this.
Ah, I see. Okay. Except when I learnt that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare.
Could have had 1,000 guineas, whatever that's worth. Oops. Sorry about that. The building was so impressive and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking.
In a lucky house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill.
Ugh, I really am sorry.
Well, mind, we must find some more 40 straight away.
It'll be this giant clock tower that we're in.
If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less.
Ugh. London is a scary place. Did they send us here with like, I guess, £30, if that's the math? Like, that's it?
So, it looks like, sorry, just, in 1920...
Uh-huh.
Oh, I think a guinea is a pound.
Oh, is that it? It's like a buck instead of a dollar?
Yes.
Okay.
But 1,000 guineas in today's money is 42,486 pounds and 17 cents.
Wow.
In 2017. Which, like, in dollars, it's probably, like,
Yeah.
Like $70,000 or $60,000. So,
Jesus.
I feel like that's a reasonable fare though for a lawyer. For like a big high profile case.
Yeah, it's not out of, it's not too ridiculous. I think this is the totally non-evil Supreme Court guy.
Yeah.
Good morning to you at this early hour. Oh yes, well.
Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday.
It was lit. Susanna is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even in the presence of the imposing Lord Strongheart. Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices.
Something.
Oh, yes. It was very eye-opening. Thank you.
And, in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end.
To the end? It doesn't sound like we died. Yes, I've already been apprised of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Oh. No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. Man, that was really easy. You win one case, you get past all that law school bullshit.
And we won it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But probably, the guy probably did it. There was, it was ambiguous.
Yeah.
My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land.
I find that hard to believe.
Thank you very much. So I'm a lawyer now. Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. Wait, are we like a public defender?
I guess.
Did we get a salary then? Did we get something?
We get to learn.
Yeah, it's a unpaid internship.
Yeah.
I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem. Another case? Already? Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. Fuck the law books. I'm sure. I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it.
Oh, that's normal.
That's your conscience. You'll learn to ignore it soon.
Let the hate flow through.
What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for? Well, usually, we find the guilty person.
The culpability of the defendant has not, at present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. Well, Lord Van Zieks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fellow, I couldn't have asked for a better defense.
I guess evil laughing is not a crime. I just can't help wondering if Mr. McGilded really was innocent.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, irrelevant.
Mr. No!
Shit, my camera keeps falling off my screen. Hold on. There we go. It's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended. Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer. Sorry?
What do you mean, Lord Strongheart?
Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial.
No!
What? Mr. McGilded is dead? The birds. I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk.
God, I hope this segment doesn't take 19 minutes and 41 seconds.
Exactly. McGilded's dead. I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead? After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. Yes, of course, that was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilda had been accused of. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. No.
How could such a thing have happened? Good option idea.
That is being investigated as we speak, but already. The police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of Miss McGilded. That's awful. The man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's attention was elsewhere. The bailiff really needs to pay more attention.
Could that have happened?
That is also being investigated as we speak.
Looking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilda did mention going back to the courtroom to look at the omnibus. I'm guessing he staged his death.
Do you think it's not him in there?
Yeah.
Like, why would he do that? Yeah.
So that way he can basically skip out of another trial.
I guess.
And also destroy this crime scene at the same time. Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection.
Sorry, what inspection?
They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself.
An inspection of the omnibus? Not to my knowledge. I do not believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage. But then who was Mr. McGill talking about? Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police.
Gilded.
British court. So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court? Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was... wow.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Mr. Naruhodo means the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. So just Scotland, England, and Wales?
Exactly.
It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old.
Wow, Suzato sounded in such a way with words.
It's like she should be the lawyer. And you seem to have a way of failing to find
What?
right
That was blue text. That was like narration. You can't read my mind. Get out of here. The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can.
No.
Most advanced in the world, is it?
Not that, like, the American judicial system doesn't have faults, but it is significantly better than pretty much most other countries.
I don't know, John. Do we have the 6 people who are all related to the case somehow? Who just get to speak up in the middle of court and shoot fireballs at a scale?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that our court system couldn't be jazzier.
Yeah, that's what we're missing, dude.
But, you know, from like a mechanics of it, for the most part, it's solid and sound. Which actually, I just learned recently, in Italy, the police can hold you for a year before you're even charged.
Wow, that's some bullshit.
And then they can hold you for like another year after you've been charged before a trial starts.
That's ridiculous. But
Yeah,
like,
so you can literally be wrongfully imprisoned for a year.
nice.
And there's no like due process, anything like that. And I don't believe there's even like Miranda rights.
I mean, I'm sure like the equivalent thing happens in the U.S. Like, even if you get charged, you're still stuck until the trial. Like, if
Well, there's that with like paid bail
yeah.
and things like that. But like, you have to be charged though to like be subject to bail.
Yeah.
So or at least I believe. But yeah, no, it's real wonky. Anyway, sorry.
That's right. It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair.
Simple? It was simple?
As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose.
I don't mean to be contrary about Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple.
Alright, I'm gonna unplug my controller in the middle of this. We'll see if it blows up the whole thing. Sorry, it just keeps vibrating and messing with stuff on my...
Can you not turn off vibration in the settings?
I probably could, but it's easier just to unplug the controller. I'm using it for this game anyway. Okay, we did it. It didn't blow up. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Is something funny? No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed to exceptional talent. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I don't know about that. Well, never mind.
I have a question about the game,
Uh-huh.
like how these games function.
Uh-huh.
Is it, like, would it have been possible to actually get a guilty verdict?
No. Well, like, you get that little health bar when you get things wrong. If that runs out, they just get declared guilty, but it's a game over. And you just reset from the last checkpoint.
Okay, because a part of me wonders if, like, this conversation would be different. Like, if it would actually let you get McGilded a guilty verdict.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd be amazed if it did. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much at least is an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I had prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before. What's going on? What was he gonna say before? New case.
Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned?
Don't tell me it's a murder and the trial starts in 10 minutes. It's a murder and the trial starts in 10 minutes. Don't worry, it's nothing as alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment.
It starts in 20 minutes.
Yeah. In fact, this case is completely different. Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind? That is to say, no one has died as yet. And the trial will not be today. There's plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise. Ah, so the trial's tomorrow then.
Is that right?
Oh, yes, I'm just a little confused. That's all. Yesterday's trial was... Well, it's left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer. Don't say this in front of the dude. Lose,
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo.
You idiot. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. McGilden's trial.
So I have a theory that, like, the blue text is him just saying it, like, under his breath.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as if it was, like, a vocal narration of his inner thoughts or something. That's why people hear it. But he's, like, oblivious to that he's, like, doing it aloud.
Yeah. Ah, yes, I nearly forgot. There is one similarity with yesterday's case.
A murder.
Yeah. Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh. The situation remains unchanged. The trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. And if that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome.
Terrible end awaits the defendant. Which also is not how, like, the law works here.
Yes, that's right. Here we go again. So I'm kind of curious to see what the crime is, because there's only been one case that I can think of where the crime wasn't murder, and then it became murder like halfway through.
See, I think that's what's going to happen to
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
because he said, like, as of yet.
Yeah. Your time is up.
My
You will have to
guess it's like a
excuse me.
pickpocket.
Yeah, something like that. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits. So there are 20 minutes between this last time and this. Last time I mentioned the 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time. And one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There's something I should like to ask you. Oh, what's that? Which Susie ship do you like?
Do you want to be a big shot?
Yesterday you remarked upon something.
That you wanted free Cromer.
Exactly. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds. Oh, well, Kazuma always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world worked so he could change ours in Japan. Now that he's gone, I'd like to work towards that myself. And there's another thing. John, did you get cut off? John.
Oh.
There we go, thank you. Oh! Another thing, continue.
That was like my 10th O.
Oh no. On the way here, on the steamship, he said something to me. Something very important that I have to do. Something very important. And what exactly would that be? He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done if he'd ever made it to Great Britain. You're out of time. But thank you for an enlightening discussion.
So it's mentioned anything of the sort to me.
Hey, you're a woman. You don't need to know that shit.
Yeah.
I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. Oh, hello. I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. They'll be able to apprise you of the details. How long has he been there? You think this is, Lestrade?
Yeah.
So I wish you the best of luck and bid you farewell. Or, like, some silly pun name of Lestrade.
There's something very important that I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what did you mean?
I wish I knew, but honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we better talk to the detective, don't you think?
Yes!
Okay. I hope I'm just imagining it, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all. What if he's just super racist right off the bat? It's like, goddamn, Japanese people. I have to examine him. I can't go talk to him. Is he holding a thing of chips?
Yeah.
Can we trouble you?
Do you want me to do it?
Sure.
What do you think? Oh, no, that's not the stick.
Ah! Lovely weather, isn't it?
What's the weather got to do with anything?
Ah!
By the end of this episode, I will figure out a voice for it.
Okay. I believe you.
Listen to me, young Japanese upstart. So fiery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eaten out of your hand, you know.
But Susanna-san told me it was foolproof.
I'm a busy man, a very busy man. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes of you a talking to.
Oh, I'm ever so sorry.
Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying, huh? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's too busy with the bigwigs these days. And all because of some bumpkin who's here on a jaunt from a country I've never heard of. Hear that ribbon sound? That's my reputation at the yard going in tatter.
There's no need to rip us apart as well.
I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer. Eh? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, sir. Eh? It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? Why is a woman talking to me?
Yeah.
It's unseasonably fine, I grant you. London's winters don't see a lot of sunshine.
Unbelievable. How'd you pull that off?
So, Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson, Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. Gregson? Inspector Gregson?
Are you sure your name's not Lestrade? Are you sure? What's the matter with Suzato-san?
Does this detective's... Oh, sorry. That's...
Does this detective's name mean something to her? I know, because he came on screen. Inspector Gregson?
Inspector! Perhaps... The Inspector Gregson? You're acting like you know this man. Oh, that's you. Sorry. Damn it.
You're acting like you know this man, Miss Suzato, but he's a London detective.
Oh, I do know him very well, in fact.
Very well.
Yes, he features prominently in The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Randst Magazine?
Oh, God.
Is that a thing?
That's because, like, the magazine that it was posted in was The Strand.
Okay.
That's right! Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful, friendly rivalry.
Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible.
Oh, well. I don't know about that. He's a pretty shit inspector.
Yeah.
Mr. Holmes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time. Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words.
That doesn't sound like a compliment. That's his highest praise?
Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see. And he's not. And thanks to that magazine, my name's known all over London town. Now.
That's great, isn't it?
Humph. I have to admit that, to start with, I was a little well flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yard went through the roof.
Well, that's wonderful.
No, it's not. There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. People are always looking at me now. They whispered rumors about me under their breath. I'm sure.
Rumors?
Are you quite sure? He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's gone to his head, stuff like that. God, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you? Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying, but I know what folks are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying. As sure as egg is eggs.
Is that a saying? As sure as eggs is eggs? Is that a thing that people have ever said?
I'm not entirely sure.
I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work.
Oh dear! Perhaps a sudden rise to fame does change people.
God, don't I know it? On my gigantic Twitch stream. Totally changed my life. The case. So, about the case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before.
Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the Yard, it couldn't be simpler. Oh dear, that probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated.
I wish you're wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right.
A young woman was walking along the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in hospital unconscious. Oh yeah, so it was the story that we saw before.
Okay.
That's despicable! What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind?
So you would have finished whoever it was off with a Suzetto takedown, would you?
That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo, but yes.
Brace yourself, Ryunosuke. You've angered her now.
Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. He barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest.
Why don't they just wait for her to wake up and ask who it was? You know what I mean? Like,
That's too easy.
yeah. So there must have been... so there must have been something left of the scene that led you directly to the culprit.
Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question?
Nope, we picked him at random.
Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one.
Sorry?
There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help them look down.
Why ever not?
Simple. He's dead. The prosecutors that have decided the trial tomorrow is Lord Barak von Zeeks.
No!
Sounds like you've heard of him then. Oh yes, we are very familiar with Lord Van Zeeks. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself.
The Reaper of the Bailey. Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Barak von Zeeks, who we faced in court only yesterday.
He told us about it before the trial, didn't he?
No, we have a flashback!
Oh my god.
No, we don't need this. I think it's supposed to be McGilded, but we can. It's like narrated.
When Van Zeeks stands for prosecution, they call the accused as sacrificial lambs. And in every single trial which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned.
Except for the one we just did. Get wrecked, nerd. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname. I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty. Is that it?
Well, that's what's happened when you plant evidence.
Exactly.
If that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Naruhodo secured a verdict of not guilty. I feel like it was more of like an acquittal.
Yeah.
Ha! And what of it? Oh, well, I think that means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. No. You really don't have a clue, do you?
What do you mean?
What happened at the bloke in the end, eh? He's dead.
Ah!
Magnus McGilded came from a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you?
Is he implying that Van Zeeks murdered him? To keep his record?
Fucked up.
Yeah. What are you saying?
Look, if Van Zeeks could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles, he works magic. Black magic.
He literally is saying that he killed it. What the fuck?
I'd have a good long think about that if I were you.
The most advanced criminal system in the world. Criminal justice. It fucking hexed them. Are we really supposed to believe that?
Gregson, this is why no one respects you.
Yeah, because you believe in black magic. Can we finally do some investigating?
Right, well, I filled you in as requested. I'm very nearly out of chips. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place? That's correct, ma'am. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself.
You branded him a criminal already?
He's as good as. Shaking like a leaf in his cell, yes. I'll give you a chuckle if nothing happens. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way.
Inmate 53. Thank you. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say.
Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. Oh god, flashback.
No.
The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage, too.
But if the man they've arrested is innocent...
Hmm?
You could well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny.
So...
If I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try, so I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help? No, fuck you.
Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I am your judicial assistant, Susano Slayer!
Thank you. So then, shall we?
Yes! Let's go!
Move. Let's go to the prison first, I guess.
Yeah.
These prison cells are where suspects are held whilst they await trial. And visiting is permitted at certain times. It's fucking depressing. It's like some castle dungeon right here. 19th February. Local prison, cell 9.
Dum dum.
Dun, dun. So these are British prison cells.
Oh, they're ghastly. It feels just like a dungeon.
Roll for
And from
initiative.
the way... Well, and also... Well, and also from the way that Dad described the Japanese World War II prisons that were converted to military base, like U.S. military bases, this is mild.
Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls.
You're seen worse.
Apparently our client is in this cell here. But it's so dark at the back there, I can't make him out. It's very well lit.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see you. Stop hiding in the back of the cell and show your face at once. Am I a cat as yet with no name? Calling me by a number, it's utterly, unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable. I refuse to answer.
What? What do you think is going on here?
I have no idea, but I wasn't just hearing things. Was I? A tirade of complaints was in Japanese. What? Oh, is it going to be the detective?
Oh,
who
my
wears
God.
the disguises all the time? Oh my god. No.
Oh.
What's going on with his eyes?
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, but who? Shh! Quiet! They're all around, hiding. I know they are. They're watching, listening, even now. I can sense it. Right. So, could I ask you, who exactly? There you are. You've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it. You're a ghost. A ghost?
What the?
Yeah.
You mean you know harm, prisoner son? I do.
Son.
Japanese? Chip?
This is beyond my wildest dreams. Forgive me for that outburst before. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's fine. We were just a little surprised. That's all. Imagine it! It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am in a frightful fix in a foreign land. So hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole was a most monumentally moving moment. What the fuck?
Wow.
Who could have guessed that this new client Lord Thronghart assigned to us turned out to be a fellow Japanese? Ah! What compassion my fellow countrymen show! To dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Noble, nurturing, never failing Nippon!
That's...
A first-class lawyer? Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here.
Sure. Would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example.
Yes, I can. I will. Shed, stay solid and silent.
I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy!
Yeah, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I am a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
And I am Naruhodo-san, Judicial Assistant Susanoo Mikatoba.
I am a visiting student sent here by our government. Notably, notoriously named Natsume. Sosuke Natsume. Sosuke Natsume. Sosaki, I don't know. Sosuke Natsume-san? What an unusual name. Is it? I have no idea. Call me Sosuke, please. I'm a poet, you see, a writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume? You mean an alias?
Oh.
No! Don't be so prosaic! It's much more refined than that! And haiku, that really reminds me of home.
Did I... that you were a visiting student sent over here by the government?
Yes, that's right. A year ago I was told to go and study English. First I had to suffer that misery, and now this? It's beyond the pale! Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? No! I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course. Oh. But just because the government tells you to do something, does it mean you can do it? No! If they told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field. But now they told me to study the English language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I see. Only the other day I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on white watchy.
You must be a man of great standing.
Because otherwise no one would put up with your shit.
Yeah.
Oh yes! So I'm often told. And often like to be told, it seems. The accusation against you.
That's exactly what you've been arrested, Suzuki-san?
I didn't do it! I didn't commit that atrocious murder!
Murder!
Oh, no! It's alright. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife right before my eyes! Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? I didn't see anyone. What? If I'd seen the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here?
This case is becoming rather complicated.
Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be standing in front of me? It's all about me! It's the curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient.
Yes. The attempted murder of a woman is inconvenient.
So it's just, Sozaki-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker.
It's vital that we find out more about the case.
About the case. It was an accursed evening just after the snow had started to clear and heavy with fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings. Sure the bookshop wasn't accursed too? As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. Is that Hebrew on the book? On the right?
Yes. And I'm not sure about the one at the bottom, but on the right it did look like Hebrew.
Yeah.
How terrible!
I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard.
This guy is so extra.
I know. Slight exaggeration there, perhaps? He's a poet, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
That's you.
I'm just looking at the picture, trying to figure out what's going on with these books. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. That's not good. They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that.
Was the victim an acquaintance of yours?
Don't be ridiculous! I hate women. You think I know any of these fair-haired English, and a young woman at that? I'm diffident, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people, I'm an incel.
Oh, God.
I see. A young woman, unknown to Sozaki-san. At the time it happened. Who else did you see nearby? Did anybody pass you? Yeah, how did they know it was him? Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one? Oh, great. Someone's throwing knives around in London.
Yep. So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else on the street at the time. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it?
What conundrum? Conundrum. What do you mean, Suzada-san? What's the conundrum?
If what someone has just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says that he didn't know the victim and that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled without having been seen.
I did! But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit. Ah, you! What did you just say in your thought narration? Nothing. I literally didn't say anything. Oops. Perhaps I thought a little loudly. Dude, his eyes are freaking me out.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's not what was troubling me. Yeah, it's... Yeah, how did people know to arrest him if no one was there?
They're just racist. They just found a Japanese guy and arrested him.
What I was thinking was, Suzuki-san actually come to be arrested.
Sorry? I'm extremely dense.
Yes. He didn't touch the victim, and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place?
Oh yeah, she's right. Maybe he left something behind, or something. Like one of his books is his, or like it's in Japanese or something. It was him. That accursed great detective! He led the police to me! Oh, Sherlock fucked everything up. Nice. Of all the bad luck! Accursed great detective? Could it be? I shall never forget that man's name as long as I live! With his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed busybody begone! May you be cursed until the end of your days, Hairlock Sholmes! I knew it!
Mr. Shaw?
Hairlock Sholmes. Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips. That's for sure. It was the morning after that nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I gotta answer a text real quick, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're good. Alright. I was gnawing on a sliver of hard cheese when some man suddenly burst in through the door. They started shouting at me, "This is the police, put the weapon down!" Yes, it was a thin sliver, and yes, it was hard. But I wasn't eating a weapon! Disgusting, dietary discrimination, devils! You clearly had a trying morning yesterday. And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That Hairlock Sholmes? It's actually just Herlock Sholmes. He's English. I've since found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London. That got cut off. Sorry, no.
Oh. Yes, the great detective is really very well known.
And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman, me, this weak, stooped kitten of a man. I wonder what great deduction process led him to his conclusion this time.
Do you mean to say that Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable.
Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in.
You were. That's only natural.
I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me in impossible English. Fiendish, foreign, flim-flammery. Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English. Good point, but my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. So I just kept repeating things like, yes, I do, and I'm fine. Next thing I knew, I was in manacles, and before I knew it, I was thrown in here.
It's surprising.
I'm fine? He's not fine now. So now Naruhodo Esquire. Oh, you can just call me a Naruhodo. And when we're speaking English, a simple mister is more than enough. Oh yes, alright. Yes, they've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? Well, Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Come on, Stacy! Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself on a study tour. A student? I've defended the case in the Old Bailey. Only the one, though. But at this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm a sort of locum lawyer, I suppose. What is that? But that armband, that's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire. It's a keepsake for the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. A keepsake? I know exactly what they're saying about me.
Oh,
The lawyers, all the British defense lawyers, they won't defend me.
goodness, why? Why do you say that?
For the same reason as you noted before, when it happened. There's only the victim and myself around, and I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Suzuki-san. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them, someone not to be trusted. I heard them openly laughing about me before, in my earshot without any compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said, and of course the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say the man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway. It's awful. They're wrong! I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there on the streets. I've traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through. Suzuki-san, it's just that. Just give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can, for the time being. What do you mean?
Shall in case possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure.
Oh yes, thank you. I'll be here all alone, waiting for you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
We should be going then, Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for.
Alright, goodbye. I'm gonna Briar Road. So, it's not gonna be like someone threw a knife at her, or she was stabbed, like, before time and, like, just felt it there or something, or, like, just collapsed.
Yeah.
Something like that. That 19th February, Briar Road.
Dum dum.
Look at that fucked up bike.
Oh, yeah.
No, there's a break in the fence, too. So this is where it happened. Briar Road.
Ah! Look, Mr. Naruhodo!
A snowman!
Look at the regular metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak.
That is their job, you know?
Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eye. They are often depicted in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, but I've never dreamt I'd ever come this close. To a real body's helmet.
What? The helmet?
Hee hee, of course. It's only a mild fetish. I have to try one on one day.
Well, I hope your hatty dreams come true.
What's the Japanese delegation doing here? Oh, Inspector Gregson! This isn't of the tourist trail, I'm fairly sure you're well aware. Yes, of course! We're here to investigate. So you've been in the holding cells then. What do you make of the criminal? He's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect. We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose.
Unlike every other ethnicity in the world.
Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens, and the verdict's a foreign conclusion.
Stone cold air projection.
Take heart! London at this time of year is full of stone cold air.
That makes it worse somehow. Oh my god, Gary is sleeping right off camera. He's
No.
super adorable right now.
Tell me, Art Inspector. Ever since I heard about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've been fascinated by the place.
I just look over at chat, and Jake says, "I hate white people."
Reasonable.
Alright, we're gonna cat cam. I had a request for a cat camera. Here's Gary. On stream, baby.
What a perfect boy.
Yes. He's so sleepy, he's not even swiping at the camera.
No.
Oh, that's...
The Yard
There we go.
is the most sophisticated politician or policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world. Oh, and you know, I've always dreamt about wearing a real helmet.
It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. He certainly gets the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city.
Oh, wonderful. Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you. Oh, really? First thing in the morning, you know what he does. Goes around and rouses all the laborers on his beat so they can get off to work.
What? He wakes people up?
Yup. Raps on their windows with a long pole. Did it myself going back a bit.
I knew that was a thing. I didn't think the police did it.
Yeah, that seems odd. I had no idea. The Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance.
I can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way.
Yeah, that seems awfully long.
Jake asks, have you noticed his eternal endless fish and chips? Yes. He takes a bite and it immediately gets recovered. It's making me really hungry for French fries.
It's magic. Let me see! 20 miles? That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama.
On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far.
And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps. Oh my!
And I suppose in between all those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well.
And chase after criminals trying to evade the law. I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly. More alongside, but yes. They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men keeling over from time to time, I admit. I'd always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. About the case.
At around 5 in the evening 2 days ago, just there on the open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind.
Is it right that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in hospital.
I never said that she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all.
I suppose that means I haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course.
Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want.
Really? Are you sure?
It's Yard's policy to give lawyers, defendant suspects, the odd bit of information to go along.
I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still.
We gratefully accept.
The local map has been entered into the court record.
Anyway,
Let's take a look at that. Mearscum? I don't know. Calabash Road and Briar Road.
as far as we know, there's no one else in the scene other than the victim and your fellow countrymen. So who did it, do you think? Not much of head scratchers, is it?
Yes, Jake, we met the victim, or the defendant, before coming here. Well, I know Mr. Natsube is also claiming not to have seen anyone else around, but...
Just because I didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present. I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure.
London is not very crowded at all. There's not many people here.
How? Because... Oh. Because, man. The precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed.
Hey, what?
We have two very reliable witnesses, no else.
Well, then there were two more people there, at least.
Ah! It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them.
There were witnesses now? Witnesses? Who are these witnesses, Inspector?
A fellow and his wife, and the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard. Ah!
A policeman? That might change things.
And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked. Nothing peculiar about that, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a bobby. Catching them banging the act and all that.
Do you think it might be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions?
Be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow.
Oh.
I've no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. So that'll give you something to look forward to.
That's that then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems.
A policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make the job very difficult indeed.
Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned myself of that too. Oh yeah, one more thing, Inspector.
What?
The person who led you to the suspect, I heard that was Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
What are you bringing him up for?
Was something I said? The color has drained from his cheeks. Oh my god. We'll ignore it. Tomorrow's trial.
Twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you going to defend him or not?
Well,
Makes no difference to me. But I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole.
because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean?
There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It is all a bit strange, though.
Sorry?
The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now. Yes, we did hear something to that effect. The only people he usually bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals, the violent ones.
Master criminals?
The violent ones? That's right. He handpicks his victims, only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins.
But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely?
That's just my point, Sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but he didn't kill her. Could even say the intent was there. So this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase.
He just wants to find some Japanese people to punish for
Yeah.
making up for to make up for losing the court case.
Or I wonder if he also suspects that there's corruption, and so
Yeah.
by picking these cases, he's trying to like root out.
Yeah, that's probably it. Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it?
No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason he's taken an interest. Or it's either like the Supreme, like the Chief Justice is having him try to kill all these people.
Yeah.
Really? What sort of reason, Inspector?
Jake says that the first guest is closer to the truth. Just being mean to Japanese people.
You think I can tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial.
Really gonna have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it? Alright, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, there we go.
Who did you hear that name from?
Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Sholmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings.
I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Sholmes' original great deductions. Fiddle faddle. Ugh! The man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere.
Oh.
I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime. Wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case.
Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he?
He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he? Gabble gabble. Ah! Ever seen this before?
Oh, yeah, that's Rance Magazine.
The adventure of Harlock Sholmes appears. Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. Now, if you ask anyone in the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any of Harlock Sholmes' tale at all. Well, I suppose there is an element of that. The work of our socks off, every one of us, only to be frumped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective.
Get frumped, nerd.
The man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals. That can't really be true, can it, Inspector?
Clearly the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective.
Mr. Can I have a suggestion?
No. Oh, yes. What is it?
Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this.
By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes?
Mr. Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, Mr. Harlock Sholmes, exactly.
Look at those shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all this, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Harlock Sholmes again.
The trouble is, we have no idea the man's address even.
It's Baker Street.
How do you know that?
It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world.
I like how they changed his name, but they kept exactly the same address. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. Then try to find our way there before Zuzara-san gets any more excited and unpredictable.
Carriage.
We still gotta investigate the crime scene. What the fuck? So we're gonna have a reunion already with the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Oh, here we go. Okay. Jake says that a Herlock should live at B122 Sacred Beat. This patch of pavement must be where the incident occurred.
Yes, it's a very wide open space, isn't it?
That's true. I can't see anywhere, and attacker could have been hiding. It was the snowman. It was the fucking snowman.
It was the snowman.
Oi! What are you foreigners doing here? Oh, we just investigating the scene, officer. Conspiring with that mustache fella from Japan, are you? This accent lost everything really fast.
Hey, you're fine. It's better than my Gregson.
Conspiring? Come here to destroy evidence, have you? Get out of here before I give you an Iden. A what? Go on. What's giving an Iden? The fuck does that mean? I don't know. I bet we have to get Herlock and come back.
He shooed us away like rats.
Yes, we should give him a wide berth, I think.
What a disappointing experience.
We talk to him first? I don't know. It's one of the officers from Scotland Yard. The police are making sure the crime scene is undisturbed. I have a feeling that if we wander too close, we'll be clapped in irons.
I think you're being a little overcautious. We've done nothing wrong, so we have no cause for concern.
Oh no, I'm not getting cut out again. Twice is enough. Twice I found myself in handcuffs despite not knowing anything about what was going on. I was hoping we'd have the animation come up.
Oh, we still might. Damn. Yes, you've had some dreadful experiences. I'm sure it's that wide-eyed look of panic you're so prone to. It does you all no favors at all.
Ugh.
Hee hee! What a delightful snowman!
I didn't realize the English had a tradition of making snowmen as well. It looks a little creepy though.
Oh! Look!
You need one if you're out in this freezing cold all the time. I wish I had one.
I'm afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment, too. We certainly can't afford a scarf.
Surely the snowman here wouldn't miss his.
But the who made the snowman clearly would.
Yeah, I know, you're right. Anyway, even if I borrowed it, it wouldn't do much to warm my neck, would it? It's covered in snow.
Oh! It's a Scotland Yard carriage! They use vehicles like that to rush to crime scenes and cart away criminals.
You're very well informed, aren't you?
Yes, it's because I killed him. It's long been a dream of mine to ride one of those through the streets of London.
Well, just pick up a stone and throw it through one of the windows then.
But that would mean being arrested in order to ride it. Wouldn't it? Still, if it's the only way, help me find a good stone.
No, I wasn't serious.
Can you look to your left?
Yeah, I'm just gonna check this whole area first.
Yeah.
It's the street and stuff like that. There are piles of snow on the pavement here and there, but the road itself is covered in carriage tracks.
That's it. Carriages often travel down Briar Street. Briar Road. It soon disappears. All the snow. Disperses all the snow.
I slipped over when I was walking down the pavement earlier. Seems like it would be far safer to walk on the road instead.
Oh, but you're rather small, Mr. Naruhodo, and dressed all in black. I worry Coachman might not see you. you could be flattened by horses.
Well, thank you for the rather small concern. Not an alpha. Oh. Investigate thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place because I'm trying to fucking. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to go to the. What is it? B. Okay. Alright, check this bike.
British bicycle, look! Oh, wait. What if the woman slipped and fell
And, like,
on the knife?
onto a knife. That'd be the dumbest case ever. I
know,
I love it.
but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Or it could be like some ridiculous circumstances has put the knife there.
Yeah, yeah.
So. Although the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anymore.
Someone must have been doing some breakneck cycling.
It seems bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently.
So it says Strand Street. I don't think that was. It's not one of the roads listed on here, but I guess it's the one. It's this one, the unnamed one. But it's funny that they have a street sign here that's not on the map.
There's even a movement to change women's dresses to allow them to ride as well.
The bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that.
Goodness! Do you dislike bicycles?
No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I dislike them exactly. Just that any occupation that involves taking both your feet off firm ground seems reckless. If you ever tried walking on stilts and falling into a river, I know you'd agree with me. Is that something you did?
Well, Santo, you can sit behind me while I ride you around.
Hell yeah. Cruising in style.
Now, does like in the Ace Attorney games, does he like ride a bicycle or like hate bicycles or something?
I don't think so. Not that I remember.
It's rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has a long and interesting history.
Well, time certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks in decidedly worse shape than the other houses around here.
We must find some cheap lodgings ourselves as soon as possible.
Yeah, you're right. Cheap, but ideally with reasonably level floors. Dude, I hate it when the floors are tilted. It, like, unreasonably upsets me. Like, my current apartment's like that. Just like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Well, it kind of like throws off your sense of balance.
Yeah, yeah.
Because everything's like slightly leaning.
Yeah.
Can you click on the door?
It's the same
Okay,
thing as the Strand Streets.
It looks like the one of those covered windows.
Yeah, over
had
here.
like on the right.
Oh, yeah.
See, like those.
Yeah, they're all bricked over. I'm sure this building's important. Oh, look at the windows of that building there.
Are you sure they're windows?
Yeah, but they're all filled in with bricks.
Oh, you're right. I wonder why. Perhaps it's an empty property where nobody lives at the moment.
There's smoke coming from the chimneys, though.
Oh dear, everything still feels very foreign. There's so much we have to learn about this place.
Oh. Same thing. I thought the little break in the fence would be part of it. Nope, nope. Oh, wait. Okay. I'm struggling with the controls. There we go. I think that's the Old Bailey in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something on this roof, too. Do you see all the black smoke rising from the chimneys over there?
It says here that in Great Britain, many people heat their homes in winter using coal.
The only chimneys I really remember seeing in Japan were on top of the bathhouse. You think some of those houses could be on fire?
Not at all.
Well, even so, that much thick smoke billowing up to the heavens is surely going to turn the whole sky black sooner or later.
Gosh, you may be right about that.
It's okay, I'm sure that we'll stop doing it by the time it becomes a real problem, right? Like, we won't have
Oh.
anything. Yeah. There won't
Yeah,
be
most
any.
definitely.
Yeah, we'll definitely just figure out that's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Womp womp.
The clouds look so big and heavy in the sky, don't they? And with the dense fog as well, everything looks hazy.
Well, it's known as Foggy London Town, and also it's called atmospheric perspective.
I can just make out some sort of spire through the fog. It looks like it's still being built, though.
Aha, yes! That must be the Crystal Tower being built for the Great Exhibition. That's to open in 6 months' time. Apparently, it's going to be very striking, glazed on all sides, and the symbolic centerpiece of the exhibition.
And I'm sure that we won't have any cases related to that whatsoever.
Nope.
It's to be the largest exposition in history, is it? I can't even begin to imagine it. I think that's everything. So I guess we're gonna go see Herlock.
Mm-hmm. Oh joy, I have to try to remember my voice.
What am I trying to do here? Let's go back. There we go. Oof. The location has been added. Shump Suite. Oh my god. Animation.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again. This is it.
Didn't the guy point somewhere else? They just turned around and like, okay, we're here. February, 12:53 p.m. Sholmes' suite. Dun dun.
Dun dun.
So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. Is it as described in the stories, Miss Susato? Susato-san?
Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room.
Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. Never read the stories, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be.
The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. On the thrill of it, the romanticism, can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest?
Can't you?
Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Shit.
Can't you?
Oh, I suppose I can, yes.
So, if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer and awkwardly pivot.
Exactly.
Please don't mind me.
Rotate around my z-axis.
Actually, it's rotating around your y-axis.
Shit. Ah, she's obsessed. Well, it looks like our detective friend isn't home at the present. How did we get in? Is this just door just not locked? There's no landlord lady whose name I forget.
I mean, it seems about right. Or she'll like run in mid us in conversation or something.
Excuse me, is anybody home? Alright, who do you think this is? Think this is the old lady, or?
I'll just start as Holmes. Oh, do we have a visitor? That's not the voice.
Nope.
It's her.
Yeah.
Hello. Is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes?
I forgot that was the voice. Oh no. Hello. Wait. Aren't you?
Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once.
I'm sure it's the same girl. Mrs. Otto, did you see the girl who's just here?
Oh, yes. Isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case.
So I know that there's a real Sherlock Holmes story about the King of Bohemia, but like, did Bohemia not have a king? Like, were they in the Austro-Hungarian Empire? So like, they didn't have their own king, right? Like, right? But like, I know that there's a real Sherlock Holmes story about this. And
Okay.
I think I remember looking it up and being like that, like the author Sir Conan Doyle like just didn't look it up. He just picked a country in Europe and like I think the story mentions that Bohemia like has a coastline, which it does not. He just like didn't even look at a map. It's just like I'll pick a country and Bohemia. There you go.
So Bohemia was a kingdom.
Yeah, I know. It's the Czech Republic.
Yeah, until 1918.
But like they didn't have. Did they have their own king? Like I thought they would just like the.
Yes.
I thought the Emperor of Austria like was also the king of Bohemia.
So they had. So from 1004 to 1806, Bohemia was part of the Holy Roman Empire, and its ruler was an elector. During 1526 through 1804, the Kingdom of Bohemia, together with other lands of the Bohemian crown, was ruled under a personal union as part of the Habsburg monarchy. From 1804 to 1918, Bohemia was part of the Empire of Austria, which itself was a part of the dual monarchy of Austria-Hungary from 1867 to 1918. Following the dissolution of the monarchy, the Bohemian lands, now also referred to as Czech lands, became part of Czechoslovakia, and they formed today's Czech Republic since 1993. So, like, in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, they were the emperor. But under an emperor, you can have kings.
Okay, I didn't know that they actually had one, though, because I thought it was like the Habsburg, like, was... they had both titles, whatever. All right.
Yeah, because I believe also the leader of the Holy Roman Empire was emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Well, there you go. The King of Bavaria?
King Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigmund von Ormstein, of course.
Well, there you go. We just resolved all our questions. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Sherlock Holmes for a minute and look over there.
The tea's brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well. Ah, it's you!
I knew it. Susanna recognizes her too. We don't need a flashback.
Ah, there you are. I'm taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you, I'm well. The inventor, I suppose, of that machine.
It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilda's trial in the defendant's antechamber. What is on her backpack? They're like little bunny dolls.
Oh,
yeah. So the big one is Sherlock, kind of, with the bunny, but then the small one is her.
Yes.
With her hair. Okay.
I have never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you, having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London.
Oh, yeah, it was challenging.
Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know.
Oh, thank you. Is he supposed to look that color?
Come on! What a fragrant, yet mellow flavor! It's absinthe! Hooray, it's a winner! I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you have another ticklish child, Mario. Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck.
Looks like she knows all the facts already.
Mr. Sholmes tells you about us, by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you?
Hurley? Mr. Sholmes to you, surely.
Mr. Schultz was a fellow passenger on the boat that promised to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I have no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand today, even though he's just returned from overseas.
Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, do you think?
To the point. Why is she here at Mr. Schultz's suite? Oh, silly me. I haven't introduced myself, have I? It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. Oh, so she's like Watson's wife?
I mean,
Her
she's
daughter?
definitely a kid. Yeah. Oh, so I wonder if in this version, when the stories are actually written by Watson, if they're written by her,
Oh.
or the guy that was killed in the first case was her dad, and he's dead.
Yeah.
Fucking rip.
I live here together with her.
Iris, is it? What a lovely name.
What?
What's the matter?
No, wait, this can't be. I'm supposed to be Herlock's wife. Did you say that your name is Wilson?
What's the matter with Susato-san? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden?
Yes, that's right. And what are your names?
Oh, I'm Rinosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan.
Oh, sorry. I'm Naruto's judicial assistant, Susanoo Mikitoba. It's wonderful to meet you. Lovely, Susie and Runo. Got it.
Rudo?
Lucy?
That didn't even come out of... And Rudo! This morning, this girl that meets the eye. I have so many questions for her, I don't know where to start.
Yes! And so do I!
Well... Iris. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey.
Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful, thank you so much. Oh no, not at all. So sorry, we couldn't have been more welcoming.
At the time, we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. Oh no.
Like this?
Ah, thank you now. You left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you?
Oh, Ash is chewing on a cardboard box. Alright. Anyway. Oh yeah, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade.
Oh, Giddy, yes. She's a professional pickpocket.
So we found out?
It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that.
You know, if you could pickpocket an entire grenade launcher out of someone's pocket, you probably deserve it.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive. Are you referring to that trial disrupting gun-like contraption?
Exactly. So I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism in my invention.
This girl's dangerous.
Anyway, I brought Giddy back here after that. So she could apologize to my trusty technician.
Sorry, you're a technician?
Hurley, of course, silly.
Hurley?
Yes, Herlock. Herlock Sholmes. We live together, you see.
I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter.
Daughter? Not likely.
What?
I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I?
Well then, What is your relationship with this Rose?
She's my lover.
Banned for life. See everybody.
Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind are not very expensive.
Is she his landlady? Is that it? Like,
Maybe?
So the solution to share the cost with a partner, a roommate.
your roommates? And they were roommates.
You don't mind me asking all this, but how are you?
Old enough.
I'm 500.
10 at last this year.
Well, what of your mother and father?
They're dead.
I killed them. They were.
Oh
They-
no. They're not around.
Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there. Wilson.
There's something to ask you.
Of course. Go ahead, Susie.
I am a very great fan of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and
Oh, you have a copy of Rand's magazine?
yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship.
Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world.
Yeah, it's been her writing the stories the whole time.
Yeah.
She's Watson, pretty much. Oh my god. My stories?
That's right, Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, do you think?
Goodness!
Last night, he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came.
So you are the author?
Yes, I'll let you on a secret if you like. I'm going to call this adventure The Speckled Man.
Speckled Man? That's certainly very familiar.
Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories, here and there. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble.
Oh, that was Mr. Shelm's first thought as well, actually.
Yes, and of course I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts in the case exactly, but it's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling. I think, don't you?
What could go wrong?
Yep. So, do you mean to say, are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in the Rance magazine?
All written by me, yes. On my wonderful and very modern typewriter.
But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson.
So that sounds getting more and more worked up.
Ah, yes. That's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson.
The doctor of medicine part.
That's all true, too. I'm a doctor of medicine.
No, at 10 years old?
At 10 years old.
Well, that's quite incredible.
But Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman.
Ah, yes. I did alter the setting slightly, for the stories to be more compelling.
The setting. Like I said,
That's-
Middle Earth?
God.
Oh,
Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow.
Yeah, that does sound kind of creepy. I suppose it does, yes.
Poor Suzato-san. She looks like her whole world is just falling apart. Your deduction is just down. About before. Oh, and Jake is confirming that the intro cutscenes are all her stories.
Yes. What's on your mind, Runa? Do tell me.
How'd you know that I was the lawyer? I mean, just arrived in London, I mean.
Yes! Oh! And that we've had a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all of that?
Oh, that's what you mean.
Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail.
Well, Herlock told her about the boat.
Yeah.
And then we told her, we said something about Herlock when we came in, right? Like we were looking for him because of the case or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I'd be delighted, although there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin. Iris Wilson is proud to present her Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Oh no.
Oh god, we got to do one of these kind of games.
First of all, I knew already that you were a lawyer, Runa. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber.
But you also said that we'd only just arrived in London. How'd you know that?
I observed a passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket.
Oh.
So I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against the particular prosecutor, telling me you are unaware of London's court affairs.
The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Then I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet a suspect, weren't you, earlier today? They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see.
I didn't realize.
And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So, that told me that even though you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGilded, the two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate in a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a peculiarly sad expression on your face. So I concluded the prisoner was unlikely to be a fiend or a relative. Friend. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case.
I see.
How could you have known that the trial is tomorrow?
Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It's obviously amused him. He told me that he'd caught a Japanese man who was brawling and trembling.
A Japanese man? Well, clearly it must have been.
Now, Runo has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Billy caught.
I like how she had to look at their clothes to figure out they're Japanese and not the fact they're obviously anime characters. Like,
I do like though that she's like clearly using like Sherlock Holmes deduction,
like,
like
this,
logic
like,
and reasoning.
actual deduction. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas like Herlock, it's just all
Insanity. Yeah.
yeah.
There was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case. There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly.
It did the same thing in the Sherlock Holmes game we played.
Yeah,
Is that a part in the books? Maybe I don't know.
possibly.
And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was it a winner? Was my deductions correct?
They were spot on.
Iris, truly a great deduction.
You've managed to certain something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery.
Oh, well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that.
This is really very good news. You can tell us about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris?
The case of the Japanese man. So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying.
Yes. Hurley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage. But the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene.
The great detective is a popular man, it seems.
Apparently, a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. And there were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene.
A short, shifty-looking, stooped man.
Mr. Dansume, beyond any doubt. Just like San said that he didn't see anyone else on the street at all. It seems there are witnesses after all.
Hurley used his great deductive powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking stooped man, shivering in fear.
Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark that time.
Of course it did. He's a great detective.
Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it?
Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly.
Hurley says that London is rife with crime.
Oh.
Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently.
Oh dear. I hadn't realized the situation was so dire.
That's why they can't afford to spend too much time on investigating cases, trying the criminals in court.
Yeah, well, they're doing important stuff like knocking on people's windows to wake them up.
Oh yeah.
Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person.
And Sherlock Holmes is helping a lot with that, isn't he?
That's terrible.
Sherlock Holmes.
I suppose the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest judicial system.
So, there's a thing called a Paris syndrome, which apparently afflicts mostly of Japanese people, where they have one very particular vision of Paris in their mind, and when they get there, it's different, and they get really upset. They wander the streets randomly in a daze because they're so shocked at how different it is. I feel like that. I mean, I don't know if that's exaggerated or not, but that's the idea. So I wonder if I feel like maybe this is written with that in mind, especially because it's a Japanese story. Because right now the main character and Suzato are going through this oh my god, this is kind of awful, isn't it?
This isn't anything that I imagined.
Yeah, I suppose it is, but in that case, I don't hold that much hope for Suzuki-san. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. been very informative.
Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun.
Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well.
Oh, well. I expect Hurley is still investigating the scene.
In the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, Mr. Natsume. Hurley said he was going to the man's lodging. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there.
Do you know where those lodgings are?
Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there?
Yes, we know Inspector Gregson.
Ah, goody. In that case, give Greg see this from me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know.
What is this?
A 5-shilling piece on a postcard, it seems.
Ah, bribery. Alright, the
A plus.
postcard has been entered into the court record.
It reads, "Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem."
That sounds like
Yeah,
a threat.
totally a bribe.
That sounds like a threat, too. It's like... oh my god. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's like, I think the
Yeah.
coin... This is a 5-shilling piece, isn't it? I believe it's called a crown.
Yes, and you can train a Scotland Yard detective to do whatever you want with just a single one.
Iris must be the most powerful 10-year-old in the world.
How much is 5 shillings, by the way? What's it really worth?
Well... It's probably enough to buy all the chips the inspector could possibly eat in a whole month.
Seriously?
I find that hard to believe.
Chips are probably pretty cheap then. That's greasy. In more ways than one. Ha! Iris' little handwriting is adorable, isn't it?
Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem.
Yeah, the handwriting might be adorable, but the message is ominous. There's some room for sentiment there.
I'm sure it's simply the way you're interpreting it, Mr. Darwin. Anyway, I do hope the inspector will tell us what we need to know when he reads it.
You don't think it will just make him munch piping hot chips until his team comes out of his ears, do you?
Well, that would be an entirely terrible outcome. Gosh! It'll make the inspector help us, will it?
Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try.
Can you look around?
Once the conversation's over, yeah.
Good luck then, I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, This Speckled Bow. And I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back soon.
We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, Mr. Naruto, it's back to the scene of the crime.
Wait, is making us leave? So somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all. We headed back to the scene with Iris' curious snow and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. Wow, they kicked us out, so we can't look at that. Well, wow, okay, we're gonna hit a to be continued, which is convenient because we're hit at the 2-hour mark.
A+.
So we'll save here. So we've basically just been doing investigating today, like just reading lots of text, but still, things are happening.
And this is more in line with the other.
Yeah, this is more what they're normally like. It's like you do a phase of investigating and then some trial, and some investigating and then some trial. And normally it's like in the first day of trial, like you kind of figure out who it is, and then in the second day you figure out how to prove that it was them. Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And That's gonna be us for today. John, you said you were busy for the rest of the week, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to meet up. I've got a meeting tomorrow, stuff on Thursday, then like stuff Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay,
So
so we'll just do next Wednesday then.
cool,
All right.
awesome.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Wait, I have a. Ooh, there we go.